Like Marcus Garvey said, a people without the knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. We must never forget our roots, but they are the literal foundation on which we build. It's Heritage Month, and starting tomorrow, special emphasis will be placed on the week celebrating our proud and bold heritage. Hi there, everyone. I'm Adrian Atkinson, and we have a wonderful show planned just for you. It's Jamaica Magazine. More when we return.
Are you confident that you are the legal owner of your property? Take action to secure your property ownership. Get a registered certificate of title and become the legal owner of your property. To register your property and obtain a certificate of title, you will need to provide a tax registration number TRN, a valid government-issued identification, a survey diagram, documentation to prove ownership, up-to-date property tax certificate, the names, addresses, and occupations of 2 neighbors over the age of 50 who are not family members and can give a declaration on your behalf. Proof that you have been in open, undisturbed, and undisputed possession of the property for 12 years or more. For further information on registering your property and obtaining a certificate of title, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us at WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
In this day and age, it seems the newest thing is all the rage. In fact, so in tune are we with having the latest model, we can't wait for the next thing, thus creating this monstrous consumption appetite. And with said appetite, we tend to forget the things of the past, those important objects and teachings that help to shape who we are today. Thankfully, the Jamaica National Heritage Trust is one of those institutions working to preserve our heritage. That's the conversation in this week's Get the Facts. Let's tune in to learn more.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on what you need to know. It tells the story of who we are as people, the traditions we inherit, and the legacies we pass on to future generations. I'm talking about our heritage. Yes, it's more than just about preserving monuments and old buildings, though that is a part of it too. And the Jamaica National Heritage Trust is leading the charge. Here to shine some light on this important endeavor is Ms. Lorna Bailey, Director of Public Education, Public Relations and Communications at the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, JNHT. Ms. Bailey, welcome.
Thank you so very much for having me.
All right. So you've got a lot in your title. But,
yes.
but I think that places you perfectly to help us with the first question.
Okay.
The JNHT, what's its mandate?
Okay, our mandate is to promote the preservation of national monuments and also anything that is designated as protected national heritage. We also, in our mandate, we carry out research on such monuments and sites. We carry out, we conduct development, and we are also to record.
Right.
So those are the things that we do at the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. And to date, because of our act, the Jamaica National Heritage Trust Act of 1985, that allows us to carry out our mandate. To date, we have protected over 300 sites that are of historical, architectural, scientific, and traditional values.
No, that's interesting because you've said some things which I didn't expect just yet. In the intro, we mentioned that it's more than just preserving old buildings and monuments.
Right.
You mentioned science and,
Yes.
and development.
Yes.
What does that look like?
Okay. In terms of science, scientific sites, I'm going to draw on the Blue Lagoon because, yes, the Blue Lagoon is a national monument, and that is in Portland. It is a national monument because there are over 30 natural springs that comes out into the Blue Lagoon.
Right.
And because of its scientific value, it was designated a national monument. And also the aquatic lives, the fishes, there's manatee out there.
Right.
So our act protect that as well. In terms of our buildings and in terms of our the architectural value of things, we're looking at anything that reminds us of the past. So we're looking at courthouses, churches
Right.
that are at least 50 years old. Yes, so we protect them. Caves, which is a natural development, which is not a development, but it's a natural
structure.
Yes, it's a natural structure, right? There's also other man-made structures as well. So our act allows us to preserve all of those, definitely. There's also sites that are underwater that we preserve.
We're talking Port Royal?
Yes, yes, the sunken city
Right.
of Port Royal. And recently, we were able to secure the UNESCO inscription as a World Heritage Site. So it is the 17th century landscape of Port Royal, and the sunken city is a part of that 17th century landscape.
Fascinating. You keep mentioning the act, so there's a legal basis for the JNHT's work.
Yes.
Right. So help me out here now. There is a structure that's identified. You gave us some leanings. It needs to be at least 50 years or older.
At least, right.
Right. So we're not just preserving the far past, but the developing past as well.
Exactly.
What does the JNHT do? Who identifies the structure, and then what does JNHT do? How you carry out this preservation?
There is a process.
Right.
There is a process, and based on what I mentioned, where we carry out research, if there's a development, it's a process, all right? Say, for instance, a developer identify a property that they want to carry out development, whatever it is. They want to build apartments, they want to put up a commercial complex, and so on.
Right.
When they submit their application to the municipal corporation, then the application is referred to the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. We send out our team. First of all, it is reviewed, the application is reviewed at our Heritage Development Review Committee, which is a subcommittee of the Board of Trustees.
Right.
And then the research would begin. So we'll send officers out into the field, and these are officers, they're archaeologists, they're researchers, they are from the Estate Management and Business Development Division. Right. So it's a team of technical experts. So they would go out and they would conduct what we call an archaeological impact assessment or a research impact assessment. And from that assessment, then they would come back, put in their recommendations, and to say whether or not this development has a negative impact on the heritage and the structures that is there. So whatever is there, if it is not yet protected, then steps would be taken to protect what is there, to preserve it for posterity.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I'm sure there are some younger people, or maybe even older people, who are hearing that archaeologists are employed in Jamaica. That seems like a foreign thing. But you've given us some real good information there. Could you highlight some of the more significant heritage sites and monuments that the Trust has worked on? You mentioned the sunken city, so give me something apart from that one.
Wow, there are so many.
Right.
Because right across Jamaica, we are called in when we get those applications. So we are always going out. For instance, when the highway, the Edward Seaga Highway was being conducted, we carry out archaeological impact assessment on that. And it is fascinating. And whatever structures, whatever historical structures along the way, we protect them. Okay. I'm going to mention Civil Heritage Park, which is one of the sites that we own and manage. Right. It is in St. Anne. That is where the history of Jamaica began, because 4 groups of people coexisted or interacted and met on that site. there's the Taino, or indigenous people who were settled there.
Right.
Christopher Columbus and his crewmen, they came to Seville and saw the Taino settled there. Christopher Columbus came in 1494. Then came the British in 1655, settling at Seville after they conquered the Spanish.
A lot of compound heritage there.
Exactly. And the first set of enslaved Africans came to Seville. So Seville in itself, it's a very important site for us. A rich culture and heritage exists there. And we refer to the site as the site of the encounter. You know, right?
That's very poetic.
Yes, and there are so many things happening at Seville, because Seville is where we have Emancipation Jubilee each year on July 31st to August 1.
Right.
And that is in commemoration of our African ancestors. That is where we keep the traditions and the culture and the heritage of our African ancestors alive through the Emancipation Jubilee. There's also Taino Day in commemoration of the Taino happening at Seville.
Got it.
Right.
I'm going to have to break you right now. This is interesting. We're going to pick up with this. We're discussing the preservation of our heritage with the JNHT's Director of Public Education, Public Relations and Communications, Ms. Lorna Bailey. More when we return.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. Your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, you know, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
Welcome back. It's Heritage Month, and we're talking about preserving Jamaica's heritage with the JNHT's representative, Miss Lorna Bailey. Lady Bailey, we had ended the first segment talking about the sites. We had covered Seville and the poetry of the place of meeting.
Yes.
You had promised to give us two more sites.
Okay, two more sites. National Heroes Park. We are responsible for maintaining the shrines of the national heroes.
Right.
And also Jamaica's 5 historic districts. There is Port Royal, there is Titchfield Peninsula in Portland, there is Spanish Town, Falmouth, and there is Black River. And what I mean by historic district is a geographical area with a high concentration of buildings of historical and architectural value.
High concentration of buildings. Spanish Town, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Such unique architecture in Spanish Town in particular.
Yes.
All right, so we've covered the mandate, we've covered the... Did we cover the 3 Ps? You had mentioned them to me.
So it is promotion,
right,
protection, and preservation.
And those 2 last Ps are different.
Yes.
But I do have to ask you, when it comes to protection and preservation, what challenges does the JNHT face in the field?
Yes, we do have some amount of challenges. One of them is sustainable development. When development is happening on a historic or a heritage site or close by, we have to ensure that when we carry out our archaeological impact assessment or heritage impact assessment, we give recommendations as to how we can mitigate against, the destruction or interference of those sites. So we have to preserve them. Right. And so far it has been working. And I believe that if there were more laws and policies in place to, offer more protection, then that could help. So sustainable development is, a challenge for us. Yes.
What about public interaction to the JNHT? And I'm just throwing this scenario out there. To the JNHT, this building is of architectural significance. To people who have lived around this building for 2 or 3 generations, it's just an old building. Mm-hmm. Have you found there to be that sort of tension in your mandate and the public?
Yes, we do. And what we do, we often have conversations with them and, sensitizing them, let them know, because sometimes they don't know the value of what they have. Because those buildings, you will never get them anywhere else, because we inherit them from the past and we have them in the future, in the present time, and we have to protect them for future generations. So it is very important for us to protect them. So we will have conversation with the owners of these properties, and if they are not yet declared or not yet protected by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust Act, then after we sensitize them and tell them the value of their property and so on, then they will take the necessary steps in applying for their properties to be protected under our act.
Yeah. Have you found young people might come and see these structures, these physical manifestations of our history? Have you found that when they hear the stories, it really grips them and they're like, wow?
Yes. History is very exciting, and you have to know how you're going to relay the information to them.
Certainly.
So that they can be interested and keep focus, and through our public education efforts, we do that. We focus on the younger generation. So you find that we will go into schools, we will take the artifacts to exhibitions, and they're fascinated by it. Even when we tell them about, for instance, a Taino burial site, which is different from the African burial site, where we explain to them and say, did you know that the Taino, they are buried in a fetal position? They were like, no, miss.
That everybody just lie down.
Exactly. So that sparked the excitement, and the interest, for them to learn and understand what it means to protect the heritage.
Got it. We're in the final few moments of the interview. What's in the future for the JNHT? What are the priorities going forward?
Okay, some of the priority areas for the JNHT is to continue the work of the JNHT, continue with our mandate to protect, promote and preserve Jamaica's rich cultural heritage. Also to carry out our regular maintenance of our sites. There are a number of sites that the JNHT has responsibilities for, and to carry out the maintenance. We are looking to strengthen our private partnership, and we are looking to gain more private interests who can, sit at the table with us and have a discussion to see how they can play their part and be involved in doing projects with us to develop the sites that we have.
Thank you so much for that. We have come to the end of our program. We've discussed the heritage, why it matters, what JNHT is doing about it now and in the future. And I do hope that you've learned as much as I have from this enlightening conversation. Until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. This is Get the Facts. Do take care.
A lot of times when we're feeding our children, we associate them with snacks and juices. But we have to remember that they're human beings, they're growing, and they need wholesome foods. So whatever it is that you put in, that is what you will get out. Food is fuel for the body and the mind. So if you're putting in garbage is going to come out. I know it's frustrating as parents because we just want the children to eat, but sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper. Children shouldn't be having more than 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. So 6 4 is 24, that's about 24 grams of sugar. So if you look at the nutrition facts label, you'll realize that most of these box juices that we're giving the children are excessive in terms of the sugar that they're consuming. And then we wonder why the children won't sit and stay still. And I mean, even with the snacks that we're giving them, a lot of them are empty calories. So it has a lot of salt and fat and coloring, and there are issues with the coloring as well. So we want to ensure that we take away a lot of those excess juices. I feel that we think children have to have juice, and that's a big misnomer. They really don't need juice. Water is just fine. As the adults that have the handle, let us do as best as we can to encourage a healthy lifestyle in the children.
Think positively. Focus on the power of optimism and hope. The thoughts we nurture shape our attitudes, actions, and ultimately our lives. So, reflect on the good in your life.
Each year for the past 30 years, tourism stakeholders from across the globe converge right here in Jamaica for one of the Caribbean's premier trade shows, the Jamaica Product Exchange, or JPEX if you will. It's where business meets paradise and deals are made that help to keep our tourism industry globally competitive. More in this next feature.
It's one of the most important events in Jamaica's tourism calendar, showcasing some of the island's finest offerings in the sector, from hotels, attractions, to restaurants and everything in between.
So JPEX is an all-round experience to present the destination to buyers and sellers so that business can be conducted in the tourism space.
It's about building relationships that may begin here and grow into long-standing partnerships, creating real and lasting benefits for Jamaica's tourism sector.
Yes, it is the Jamaica Product Exchange, a tourism trade show where players come together to drive the island's tourism product. In its 30th year, the JPEX has proven its worth to stakeholders.
Bartley's All-in-Wood is a wood solutions company which caters mainly to the hotel and tourism sector. We provide hotel and villa amenities, corporate gifts, souvenirs, and of course, foodware. So this is the prime place for us to meet with and see our customers and also experience from the other side of the table what they have to offer so that we can better provide solutions that our customers need.
There are just many locations that we're not privy to if we don't come to JPEX. We don't know what you don't know until you come and you see who is here, who is represented, so you can make sure to come down and see there. Because right now I met with persons from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Argentina. There's so many different people to meet and they want to come down and experience Jamaica.
We have buyers from as far south as Argentina, from as far in the Middle East as Dubai, Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia, in Europe from Bulgaria, Romania, which are new market territories within Europe for us. We have new buyers from other parts of Latin America, Colombia, Brazil, Chile, Lima, Peru, Mexico, Costa Rica, and we're very proud of that because we're very proud of our strategy to broaden the market reach of Jamaica globally into some new emerging markets, particularly Latin America, India, the GCC.
The GCC brings 6 nations, UAE, that is United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman. Together, they form a powerful economic bloc with integrated trade policies and rising wealth. For tourism, this represents as a single region with enormous outbound potential.
JPEX saw 60 new participants seeking to capitalize on the event's offerings, among them Clubhouse Brewery.
We've been around for 4.5 years. This is our first time at JPEX, and I've certainly jumped at the opportunity, and we said, okay, we would love to set up here, 1, to showcase our product, but 2, to also meet new hoteliers who could become potential customers of ours. And a number of the hoteliers here are already customers of ours, so reconnecting with them is also important.
The 3-day affair opened up with a welcome ceremony at Harmony Beach Park, where Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett shared plans for the continued growth of this sector.
Certainly we want to make the next 5 years the year of serious growth, development, inclusive tourism, and a new vista for involvement of the local Jamaicans in the rich, lucrative, and elongated value chain of tourism.
Other days saw the hosting of high-level meetings, educational sessions, and panel discussions, including airline routes.
The truth is, all of the players go to many shows around the world every single month of the year, but none of those shows are specifically designed for Jamaica. I believe it is important to the destination to have JPEX as a critical component of our tourism marketing and tourism positioning of the destination, so that we can continually create these areas of interaction and do business that is specific to Jamaica.
Some breastfeeding myths are smaller breasts make more milk. Sometimes they think bigger breasts make more milk. Some are, if you drink more water, you will make more milk. They will tell you that you must eat oats and porridge and all of these things to make more milk. They will also, some people think that breast milk is a byproduct of pregnancy and not necessarily enough to fill the baby's tummy, which is not true. Some people think that if a mommy breastfeeds on a hungry stomach, it will give the baby gas. That's definitely not true. They will say if you have a headache or you're angry and you breastfeed the baby, it can cause the baby to get gas. That's also not true. Some people think that breastfeeding causes the breast to sag, which is not true. It's not breastfeeding that causes that. I mean, once you get older, gravity is gonna happen. They're gonna sag anyways. It's not breastfeeding that's the problem. There are so many of them and I hear a new one every day, but those are some of the common ones.
Ignore the myths. Breastfeed your baby for good health.
We've come to the end of today's show. I do hope that you enjoyed this package. To catch a repeat of this or any other, feel free to log on to our website, jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.